Okay. Hi, good
Hey,
morning, everybody. We are talking to Kathy Hampton, and I'm going to have Kathy introduce herself in a little bit. Kathy Hampton is one of the Vicarians. We see her in the chat during the live streams a lot. But I'm going to introduce or have Kathy introduce herself in a second. But I'm excited to talk with her today, and you're going to want to ask her your questions today because Kathy has done a lot of things that are on your list, most likely. In the last few months, she has significantly downsized from her New York area apartment. She has started house sitting to get free accommodation. She
mhm.
has gone to Mexico on like a recon trip, on a scouting trip to check out towns or cities in Mexico that she was interested in or is interested in moving to. Kathy has stayed in a hostel. I want to talk about that. I don't know if any of you guys are going to want to talk about that. I'm excited to talk about staying in a hostel as a grown up. And Kathy has started a YouTube
Mhm.
channel, right? Kathy's had a lot of changes happening and in the directions that a lot of you guys are looking to move in. So I'm excited to talk with Kathy. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I'm Kathy Hampton, and I am a life coach as well as a transformational destination retreat leader. I create transformational retreats for Black women, and I'm excited to be here today. I came away with my own solo retreat that Stephanie talked to you about, and realized that even more so um, right now at this time, Black women need to retreat, and I'm doing that work, and am happy to say that there's a retreat around the corner coming from me.
Yes, yes.
and so, and it's being cultivated and will be created in for 2022, unfortunately, but it is being worked on. There is a possibility something new will pop up in October, but I can't say because that's not solid yet.
Right. Yes.
So yeah, so that's who I am by night, and I'm trying to do that creation of retreats to travel for myself as well as others regularly
Hmm.
on a regular.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You talked about how I put the link in the chat to the wait list for Kathy's retreat. It's in Bali. I see your question. I just saw the question. Sorry.
Oh,
I just
okay.
saw a question. Was it in Mexico? AC said, is it in Mexico? It's in Bali in
It's in Bali.
2022. Yes. So this is the wait list to sign up for the retreat. So Kathy, you called your recent trip to Mexico a retreat for yourself, like a retreat of one.
Yes, a
And
solo retreat, and I'll say that this was planned in place of a vacation, a retreat prior to the pandemic,
yeah.
and I decided to plan this retreat in Mexico because I had, attended Exodus Summit. I signed up to learn about becoming a resident of Mexico as well as Portugal. And by taking those workshops, I also learned that it's great to just start scouting,
Yeah.
looking at places and not just leaping and moving. And that fit my lifestyle
Hmm.
to go and scout.
Yeah.
And so I used the time that my employer or my investor gave me, which was my 3 week vacation, my leave, to take this solo retreat
Yeah.
so that I could see as much as I could in that time and make plans for the next step.
Right.
And it turned out, I call it a retreat because I consider a retreat to be a place for relaxation, a place for self development and self awareness, um, as well as to learn introspectively about myself. And all of that happened on this 3 week trip that I took to Mexico City as well as Oaxaca. And I curated it, I planned it, and I did so step by step. I didn't rush to plan it. It was really thought out so that I could maximize my time because I have little of it,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I think that I think I did a great job in my planning.
Good.
Hmm.
So yeah, we're going to talk about that. Yeah. So Sharon, sorry, I'm getting an echo again from me. Sharon and
Okay.
we have a few women. Hello to everybody in the chat. I'm sorry. Hi everyone. We just got going and I didn't say hi to you. Good morning everyone. I'm so glad to see you all. But we have a couple of comments about people saying, Sharon Ware and a few other ladies saying that they were scouting Portugal. Crystal Harris is considering scouting out Portugal. So how did you choose? You said that Mexico and Portugal were both on your list after going through the Exodus Summit workshops. How did you pick Mexico as the first place to scout?
Sure. It was, well, Mexico has been open for
Mm-hmm.
the most part,
Mm-hmm.
and Portugal has not. It is right now open, and I think every 2 weeks in Portugal they decide whether they should close or open.
Yeah.
So as I checked yesterday, it's open. But Mexico has been pretty much open for the most part. They closed down certain areas. Merida, I believe, closed down for some time. Mexico City has had different, um, shades of yellow or red as far as it closing. But I decided it was close to home. It was open and it was inexpensive,
Right.
more so.
Right.
And I was able to plan easily with the cost. I did set a budget. I will say that I stuck to the budget pretty much until maybe the last week.
Okay.
Um, I got off, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Are you upset about getting off the budget or are you okay with it?
Um, I'm okay. I'm
Okay.
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 You know, I owned every single thing I did while I was there.
Yes.
And
Live.
I said, you know what? I'll make up for it somewhere else.
Uh,
So, yeah.
yes.
So
Live.
that's what I did. Yeah, live. And that's exactly what I did while I
Mhm.
was there. First of all, I'll say when I first got there, I don't know if I'm gonna go off topic or not. You tell me to get back on topic,
Okay.
Stephanie, if I do.
Okay. Okay.
Because I can talk, I can do that. I can go off. Um, uh, Once I got to Mexico,
Uh-huh.
after not having a vacation or time off for, I can't even remember when, I realized that I needed to rest.
Yes.
And when I was there, I truly rested. I planned my days accordingly so that I could get back, so I could rest. I
Yes.
could truly rest, and I really needed it. And so I lived. I lived by doing the things that I wanted to do, things that popped up that were unexpected,
Mhm.
and also to rest
Yeah.
and do some the things that I hadn't done, and that was some writing that I started
Okay.
back doing. Yeah.
Good. Good.
So
Yes. So even though this was a retreat of 3 weeks, it was also a scouting trip, right? So it served two purposes. You wanted to check out some places you wanted to go, and you
mhm.
wanted to retreat, to rest, to move. Retreat is like fall back, right? I need to
Yes,
fall back
yeah,
away,
yeah,
let some things pass me by, right? Yeah.
right. And I should have said in introducing myself, retreating is also moving away from
Yes.
things or things that no longer serve you well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been working on that introduction, Stephanie.
No, no, we're good. We're good. Yes, that's right. Right. That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah,
We talk about things that we want to move towards, but you got to move away from some stuff, right?
That's right. That's
Everything
right.
that you move towards is a choice to move away from something, right? Anything that
Yes.
you go to, you're going away from something, whether it's
Yeah.
something you want to move away from or something you're not realizing that you're moving away from. So that it's important to
Yes.
talk about a retreat in terms of, yes, we're retreating to do something, but also to reject some things and to leave some things behind.
That's right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I'll say that in planning, I chose Mexico City primarily, and I thought I was going to stay there for the whole 3 weeks, and I did not.
Yes.
I decided that I was going to check into Oaxaca because I had heard so much hype about it, or good stuff about it, and that it was this spiritually steeped place, and I'm always drawn to that kind of feeling, that vibe. And so I split my trip up into the three, I call them the three legs. So
Okay.
it was Mexico City for 7 days, Oaxaca for 4 or 5 days, and then the last week, what I could consider a week, it was more than a week, maybe 8 days. Um, and I came back to Mexico City that last leg, and I stayed in two places
Yes.
in that last leg.
Yes.
So, but Mexico City was chosen because it's so big, and I had heard so much from our fearless leaders about Mexico City. I was just drawn to how much was there to do and to
Yeah.
see. And I didn't experience it all, but I got to experience quite a bit of it. And it's broken up into several boroughs or neighborhoods. I equated it to something that I knew of New York City.
Right.
So New York City having all the boroughs, Brooklyn, Staten Island, all of that, Long Island, all of that. And times 5 is Mexico City.
Wow.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. And you can travel for an hour outside of what you think is Mexico City, and you're still in Mexico City.
So you're from,
And
are
that
you, so you, I'm sorry, you're from New York, but are you from New York? How long had you lived in the New York City?
no, no, I moved from New York as part of leaving what no longer served me, and that was my marriage.
Okay.
From Philadelphia to
Oh,
Newark, New Jersey.
you were.
I worked in New York City,
Yes.
and I moved recently. I was there for 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I moved recently to what I call my base camp down to Atlanta,
Yeah.
and that's where I am now.
Okay. So Kathy,
Yeah.
so you went before your divorce, you were in Philadelphia. I didn't know that.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in Philadelphia for 17 years.
Oh, we were
I you know
neighbors.
what, Stephanie? Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
know.
in Delaware.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so Stephanie, I am actually from all different places
Okay.
because I've moved around in my life for different reasons.
Uh-huh.
I life traveled, so
Uh-huh.
to speak, not traveled for destination retreats or for vacations. I've lived places. I lived on the West Coast for a long time, San Francisco and Sonoma County.
Okay.
So I have lived all over this country, and I was born in Germany, but I was only there for 2 years
Okay.
before my parents moved. So I'm an Army brat. So I've moved all over the United States, and I have traveled less than anyone I know for just exploring.
Yeah.
I am a rookie traveler.
Because
That's how
yeah, but
yeah.
you've
So
lived a lot
I'm
of,
new to it.
but new to like travel. Professor
Yes.
LCH says you seem so soft and pink, not a hard city girl at all. Yeah. I was introduced to Kathy as I live in Newark, New Jersey. I always call Newark and New York the same place. I know they're not the same place, but I
Yeah.
always say they're the same. So I knew Kathy lived in the city, like lived and worked in the city. So I'm surprised to hear that hasn't always been. So
No,
can you
go
tell
ahead.
us So Happy Life, you're on the wrong video. Happy Life is talking about last week's video. You're on the wrong video. You came to insult us. On this channel, we treat Black women with loving kindness. So if you can't do that, just leave. But also, like, you're on the wrong week. Like, you're talking about last week's video. That's Happy Life. So I'm gonna go on and block you in just a second after I ask Kathy this question.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you're talking about inspecting Mexico City as a home base. So how did and it's 5 times bigger than New York, the New York City area. So how did it stack up, and did it make you say, no, I think I want something a little slower, or were you all in on Mexico City?
I love Mexico City. I'm going to say that because, where'd you go, Stephanie?
I'm here.
Oh,
I'm still here.
Okay, all right.
Keep going.
I'm like, I can't man your station. Yeah, I because I love city life, I loved Mexico City. I love the variations of the city. And when I say that, I'm talking about there's just different neighborhoods, so to speak. I've lived in DC, Washington, DC. I've lived in Philadelphia. I've lived, in San Francisco, and there's a different neighborhood in each of those cities. And that's what it reminded me of. And so in those different neighborhoods, you have different things going on. And there was the arts, there was the museums, there were parks all over the places. And one of the things that I love is that, the quote unquote, working people were mixed in with some of the quote unquote professional people, I suppose. I couldn't tell until I was given information by Picky Girl Adelia, as well as Rashida, on moving from one neighborhood to the next, and I actually saw it change. But I'm not. I'll say I'm not fearful. I'm not a fearful person. I don't carry fear around with me. I use fear as a tool.
Yeah.
And so it's to help myself. I don't carry it with me and hide out with it.
Has that always been you, Kathy, or is that something
that's always been me?
Okay.
Yeah. My mother used to call me. Yeah, my mother calls me. I should have been a boy, she says, because I don't fear anything. I don't walk around with fear. I get lost on purpose so that I can find my way back. That's the kind of person I've always been.
Okay.
When learning to drive, I would get myself lost so that I could explore, but then also come back. Hey, Picky Girl, Mexico City is the best.
Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No.
Adelia's your personal, Adelia and Rashida are personal Mexico City ambassadors. So Kathy met.
That's right.
You got to meet Adelia and Rashida. You got to hang out with them.
Yeah.
Yes,
that was so great. It's like, we had planned it, but it happened so smoothly, where there was no glitches in us meeting, and then added another meeting and just spent really good quality time. And then, that was good because meeting someone in person that, they've provided counsel to me, and then you see how they live and what they counseled me on.
It's legit.
It's so legit and so doable.
Yeah.
And so freaking doable. It's not like pie in the sky type of stuff. And, I'm still working on a few things with their counsel. But it's doable. And it's a thing where you have to truly change your mindset.
Yeah.
Because once I got there and didn't know the language, I had to change my mind to say, I have to own all of this. I have to go and talk to people I use my hands anyhow to speak, but I have to give direction. I have to make them know what I'm talking about.
Yes. We're going to do some pointing. We're going to do some
Yeah.
translating. I mean, some Google Translate. We're going to have
Yes.
children, because children and teens are more likely to be multilingual, right? Their school is
Yes.
probably, so if you go to any place in the world, the kids are probably the most likely to be able to help you. So if you're in a grocery
Yes.
store and you can't figure, or like at a market and you can't figure something out, ask a child or a teen if they can help you with this word. I've done that
Yes.
because their school is
Yes.
probably teaching them English. Like if you're in Vietnam, they're probably learning a little English in school, and the kids can help you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've got
And so
we've got some ladies here in the chat who are looking to divorce their city. I've seen I'm divorcing Chicago, I'm divorcing Atlanta, and I've seen I'm divorcing I think it was Brooklyn. So you're
okay.
saying Mexico City is a decent choice for women who want to leave their U.S. city and go someplace else. Your trip to
Yes.
Mexico City only increased your interest in Mexico City. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And now, although it increased my, I don't know. There's a team, Mexico City, Rashida and Adelia are big, on that.
Uh-huh.
But, and I am big on it, but I want to explore more. It just also piqued my interest to
Yes.
know what else is out there.
Yes.
So when I went to Oaxaca,
Uh-huh.
it's a totally different flavor.
Right.
And in fact, I told Rashida and Adelia that I was going to look into farmland and look for. Look at your face. You subscribe
Like,
to
what?
farmland and check out how I could purchase sheep and llamas, because that's an interest of mine also.
Okay.
And so and that could be done in Oaxaca.
Yes.
I'm not going to do that
Okay.
right now in my life, but I could, there. And it's a very mellow place. I think actually very touristy for its size, Oaxaca City, but outside around it is very rural. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that.
Okay. So let's talk about Oaxaca, because I've never been there. Oaxaca is like a foodie. What I know of Oaxaca is that they talk about the food. Everyone talks about it as like a foodie destination, which I find strange because every place I've been in Mexico, I've had good food. So yeah. So you went to Oaxaca and you found something that I didn't know you were going to find. You found a community of Black women thriving in Oaxaca, right? I didn't know that.
Yes, there is a Black expats of Oaxaca. I think that's the name of it.
Okay.
And the administrator of the site of the Facebook group is Ayana Mojica.
Okay.
And there are families who have moved to Oaxaca. Children, they gather together and they go on excursions together. They put their children in school there. There are artists. It's an artist community, I would say.
Okay.
So, if you're into painting or textile, even, also for those who are into, spiritual healing, that is a place to go. Anyone considering, I believe, I talked about the sheep and the llamas, but anybody who's interested in growing, agriculture, could find a place. There's a gentleman I know there who is into coffee cultivation, and bees, and with bees also. So yeah, Oaxaca is, I would not take it off the map. I think there's money in Oaxaca. There is, when I say that, businesses are there. And they are trying to attract people to come to Oaxaca. Good food, good, I would say gourmet type food. I was told in Mexico City to go visit places in Oaxaca to eat.
And we're still talking about the same prices. We're still talking about Mexico prices at food-wise.
Yes.
It's not gourmet food at U.S. prices.
No. In fact, I stumbled into and I posted restaurant, Zandunga
Okay.
is a name of the restaurant, and a pretty renowned female chef and owner of the restaurant
Mm.
um, was there and actually gifted me food, and I didn't know who she was. I thought she was, back of the house and was giving it. And so I asked her, I said, do you are you a cook here? She says, it is mine.
Ah.
And she said, this is mine. And so my waiter told me who she was. She confirmed it. And so I had just met the chef and owner of the restaurant, and it was really cool. And she had given me two dishes. She given me
Oh
like an
gosh.
entree, yeah, a entree as well as an appetizer, and suggested my drink,
She was happy to have
which
you. So
she was
let's.
happy to have me.
Do you remember about approximately what a meal was costing you in Oaxaca when it wasn't
Um,
free?
it was.
When it
I'm
wasn't
gonna
on.
say, okay, so this was lunch when it wasn't free, right? So, so this was lunch. I had just got off a tour bus, and that's a whole different story. I don't want to go
Okay.
off track.
Okay.
It was about $15
Okay.
for a full,
Every,
full four-course meal,
okay.
15 US.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
I haven't been to Oaxaca. I've heard people love
mhm,
it, but I didn't know that there were black people in Oaxaca. I know Ayana Mojica's name, but for some reason I
mhm.
thought that she was there alone. I thought it was just her down there. I didn't know that she had cultivated a community of black people. Yeah. So now I
Yeah,
definitely want to go. I've been wanting to go, it's just further south,
yeah.
you have to get
It is.
there.
Yes.
And so
Yes. And
yeah, I just
it's literally you fly up, you fly for 30 minutes, and then you come down.
okay.
It is that quick
It's
on
not
the
that far from Mexico
on the
City.
flight.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a bus you could take there, and I don't know if they consider it to be too much of a vomit bus. The
Right.
vomit bus is a lot of turns and
Yeah.
driving fast, but I don't think that is the case.
I had really good experiences in Mexico with bus systems, like
Mhm.
they're Greyhounds, right? So I've
Yes.
ridden. Uh, I should know because I get their emails every day. They send an email, and I haven't taken them off
Um,
the list. But anyway, I've
I
ridden
can't speak.
three, I think three different buses that were at least 4 hours. 4-hour bus rides. Three different companies. No problem.
Right.
Mexico is not a
Um,
place where you need to be worried about that. I don't think there are
yeah.
plenty of places in the world where the bus may make you throw up, but
Right.
Mexico, they've been comfortable, they've been reliable, they've been safe. Yeah. I've had good
Yes.
experiences.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit. So you weren't working, you were on a retreat, but did you try out the internet in Oaxaca? Did you feel
Oh,
like this was a
yeah.
place where someone who is a digital nomad would be comfortable working from?
Mhm. That's a good question. Yeah, yeah. I did go on. In fact, the first day it came on, I got there. I went straight on to see how everything was working, see if I could work. I did post some stuff. I posted a blog post,
Okay.
and everything worked. Everything was very good. Email was fine, and I did. I used my tablet as well as my computer, um, and I didn't have a problem anywhere I was the
Good.
whole time. Yeah.
Good. All right. And then AC says, were there any surprises? Anything that surprised you about Mexico? You've done a lot of research, you've watched a lot of videos, talked to a lot of people, got a lot of coaching. Did you have any surprises when you got to Mexico?
No.
Hmm.
When I say no surprises, um, not with Mexico. I think with myself,
Okay.
I was surprised that I felt as relaxed as I did.
Hmm.
Uh, and that's with the introspection that
Okay.
I do all the time.
Yes.
So not with any not with anything. I'd been warned, or it was discussed that Mexico City is a loud place.
Right.
And it was, but
Yes.
it didn't bother me.
Yeah, it wouldn't
It
bother
didn't
you
bother
because you've lived in loud places.
right. I mean, it was actually funny to me. So the first place I lived was lived.
Yeah.
First place I stayed was an Airbnb, and it was in Zona Rosa, or the Reforma area. The Reforma is this long boulevard that goes from one part of the city to the end of the, runs, I think, north and south. I'm not sure. Somebody will correct me if I'm
Yes.
wrong. Um, and um, and Zona Rosa was kind of like this hip place, nightclubs and, restaurants, and just a part of the corporate community. That lots of corporate buildings were around. And what I realized, it was also a big LGBTQ community.
Mm.
And so they partied.
Mm-hmm.
On Friday nights also,
Yes.
the community, everybody came out and was, at the pubs, so to speak.
Okay.
And that didn't bother me. Actually, I felt safest there.
Yeah.
And yeah, because there were so many people around,
Mm-hmm.
and the owner of the Airbnb, his staff worked 24/7. So, if you were locked out or anything, you could, call them, and they would come sleepy eyed to the door within, 5 minutes.
Okay.
So I felt very comfortable. No surprises. I didn't walk. Well, that's not true. One night I walked the street in dark, maybe two times,
Okay.
and I still felt very comfortable there.
Good.
And it reminded me of Castro in San Francisco and Polk Street. If you know
Okay.
anything about those streets,
Okay.
uh, and those are heavily covered with people,
Yes.
just minding their business and having a good time.
Yes.
Hmm.
So we hear a lot of expats, or a lot of Americans and Canadians who move to Mexico, complain about the noise. I've spent a lot of time in Lake Chapala during their noisy season. Like Lake Chapala has a noisy season. It's like from Day of the Dead through the Day of the Virgin of Guadalupe or something like that, which is like the middle of December. There are fireworks. There are church bells. I mean, when I say fireworks, I mean just random fireworks, the noise making fireworks all the
Right.
time, all the time. It's just a noisy place. It's like,
Hmm.
you know, and so you have to know that you're not going, if you're coming from a quiet, suburban place, you're not going to another suburban place when you go to Mexico. If you're in the
No.
city, if you're in the country, there is going to be noise. There's roosters in the city or the country. There's dogs in the city or the country. Yeah, you had roosters all the
Yeah.
time in Mexico City.
I had I heard roosters in Oaxaca.
Okay.
I heard dogs in both Oaxaca and Mexico City.
Okay.
And can I say, I was geeked about all the dogs. I
Mm,
loved I loved the dog game,
I
and because
love
I'm a
dogs.
lover of dogs,
Yes.
the dog game is like on in Mexico City. If you don't have one dog, then you have five. I
Yes.
don't know. And they walk around, the street dogs, I call them,
Uh-huh.
and they mind their own business,
Uh-huh.
and people mind their own business. It was great.
Yeah, yeah. So
Great.
Mexico is a dog friendly place for dog owners, right? You can take there are lots of
Yes,
places you're going to see dogs. They go to the restaurant, the cafe with the dogs, and all of that, right?
that's right.
But
That's
also,
right.
like just street dogs seem to be treated pretty well. You see street dogs that look like they eat all the time, and you see people eat dogs. Like this street dog is not hungry. This is not like in the Philippines. This is not the same kind of street.
Right.
These are not the same. These dogs are living their dreams. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was happy about that. I would say that I was surprised at the volume,
Okay.
um, but it didn't disturb me at all.
Okay.
They weren't vicious,
No.
or
Yeah.
anything. No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Professor LCH says she saw a video of a guy who was chased by a street dog in Merida, and it was hysterical. I've been cornered. I got cornered by some street dogs, but I want to say I can't remember where I was. I don't know if it's Vietnam or Cambodia or somewhere. I did kind of get backed into a corner by some dogs, and somebody did have to come and rescue me. But I've never seen street dogs like that in Mexico. Like this was a gang. That was a gang. I've never seen a gang of street dogs in
They
Mexico.
were on a mission.
They were. They were. They were. I can't remember. It must have been. I don't remember where it was. But yeah. So they aren't. Yeah. They're not. They're not starved. They're not scrawny. They're not very vicious that I've seen. But yeah, that I've
Mhm.
seen. Yeah. But it is a very dog friendly place. If you are a person who is not into dogs, uh, I don't know. You're not going to enjoy Mexico. I don't think. Right. If you just cannot deal with the dogs.
Yeah. Okay. And so my nerdy self, I went to several museums, and I went to see the pyramids
Uh huh.
in Oaxaca,
Uh-huh.
Mount Alban,
Okay.
um, and I was informed that the dog is a symbol of moving into uh, bringing people to the light, which is the sun, worshiping the sun. So dogs were revered back in the day, and they called them the ugly black dogs will guide you to your destiny when when you are dying. They're taking you to the light.
Oh. Okay.
They
Oh.
provide the way. And so I I put that in my head to mean that everybody worships the dogs, just like in certain
Yes.
uh, cultures,
Hmm.
they worship,
The
cows,
cow.
or cows walk around,
The street.
wherever. I think that's in India,
Yeah.
I believe.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I took that meaning, and I didn't confirm it with anybody,
Hmm.
but if they're gonna, if this creature is not so nice looking, they called him the ugly black dog, and he's guiding people, um, then they're gonna be kind to the dog. So that
Okay.
was just my 2 cents, and
Makes
I'm
sense.
kind of
It makes
I'm
sense.
kind of
That's good. That's good. I mean, you want to go someplace and learn about the culture, right? Don't just eat the tacos.
right,
Learn.
right.
Don't be like me and eat tacos and churros and be like, I don't know. I don't know why they do that. I did
Oh,
notice
because
that.
well, I found the churro spot. Oh, I didn't even report on all my churro dealings.
Yes, keep it to yourself. People don't need to. They don't need to know if you have churros for breakfast and dinner and dessert. They don't need to know that. They don't need
Okay,
to know. They don't need to
that's
know. Yes.
that's right.
Yes. All right. So I saw some comments about the passport, getting a passport right now. I saw a post that they're saying passports are taking 4 to 6 months right now. So be
Yeah.
careful with planning trips where you need a passport right away. But I do see Stephanie, hi Steph, in the comments saying that she got an expedited passport recently very quickly. So don't play around. If you need to get your passport, go ahead and do it today. Go ahead and do it today.
Right.
All right.
Right.
So you took the recon trips. You have not been able to narrow. Is it true that so now that you've visited Oaxaca and Mexico City, you still don't know where you want to live?
No, and that's why I'm considering a quick trip in October, um, to visit, San Miguel de Allende,
Uh-huh.
um, and some more places on the western side
Okay.
of Mexico. I'm not sure, but I won't do a fast travel again.
Okay.
As I think I may have spoken to you about. Yeah, it's too hectic,
Hmm.
and I had too much stuff, so I learned my lesson. I made a mistake,
Yes.
carried too much stuff,
Yes.
and it wasn't cute. It wasn't a good look. It wasn't a good feel. Folks
It's
dragging your stuff down the street.
No matter how
No,
many times you tell someone not to overpack and you only need, right, you only need at most 8 outfits, like for us,
right,
people, it's nobody's going to believe that. I understand
right,
why people don't believe it. You just have to experience it for yourself. Just don't take anything in
right.
your bag that you're not okay with dumping. If it's heavy and it's
That's right.
bulky, it'll run through your mind, I'm just going to leave this, right? So
Yeah,
just
I
don't take
did.
it if it's bulky and if you can't leave it. So what did you dump or leave?
I dumped some pants that I had never really worn.
Okay.
I wore them. I wore them one day. I was actually out with the expats,
Uh-huh.
and those pants looked so ugly on me. I had worn these, and I don't know how long. So
Oh.
I left them and a big old heavy. They were like jean shorts,
Uh-huh.
jean like. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
jeans
not
are
wearing them.
denim is bulky and it takes up a lot of space
Yeah,
and it's
it
heavy.
was heavy. I left that, and then I left. I think I left. I left two jackets
Two
that I
jackets. Oh,
never. Yeah, they were light, just kind of lightweight that I never would wore before. I just took them because they could get dirty, and I wouldn't have cared about them, but
right.
they took up space,
Yeah.
so I
Okay.
left them.
Yes, Hermes addict says overpacking is the devil. I'd rather buy it if I need it. That's right. You're going places where they have clothes. Unless, well, like so I wear size 20. It's not easy to find size 20
Mhm.
clothes in places like Mexico or like Vietnam or, where they
Right,
don't have women my size. So it's not as easy,
right.
but it just means I'll wear what I got, right? I will wear what I
Yeah,
have. I am
yeah.
Rosanna from Waffle Cat Studio. She says, "And my team carry on mostly when I go for house sits. Mostly, I'm team carry on, but I'm not committed to it. I'll check a bag if I need to check a bag. I have checked a bag to Mexico, and I have done carry on to Mexico on 6-month trips. And I didn't feel like I'm in Mexico for 6 months and oh now I'm stuck. They have malls. I go to the mall. There's H&M. There is H&M, right? As long as you're not in San Miguel de Allende, right? Or maybe even in San Miguel, you can get over to Querétaro, right? If you're in,
Right.
yeah. So forget that. There is H&M. There is whatever. I don't know. That's the
Yeah,
only
you
place I
can go
can think of,
see.
right? But they have it. Old Navy, whatever. If you're
Yeah.
in something, so Kathy's going to San Miguel de Allende soon, hopefully, and then if you go to like a Lake Chapala, just go. You're gonna have to. If you need something, you're gonna have to maybe go into Guadalajara to get it. But we're not talking about you're not going to be able to get it, right? In fact, I think I probably bought this. This is Old Navy. I probably got this at the Old Navy in Mexico. In when I was in Querétaro, I did some Old Navy stuff, some Old Navy shopping. Yes. So
Yeah.
I am kind of team carry on, but I'll check a bag if I need to. And then right now I'm on a house sitting road trip. You would not believe how much stuff I brought with me. My trunk is full. I brought pool floats. I brought I got a yoga mat. I got just stuff. It just your as your space expands, the things that you need expand. I need more things because I have a full car. So yes, I have an inner tube like the round pool float, and I have the lounger pool float with me because I didn't know if they would have one. So
That's
yes,
funny.
yeah. So packing is no matter how many times somebody can tell you don't overpack. You're going to have to overpack one time and learn. And then,
Yeah.
you won't do it again. So, but what I was asking you is about your next. So you're coming down to try out a couple of more places, but do you need to decide or can you just, are you, do you need to decide and get a home in Mexico? Or are you interested in being a digital nomad and just bopping around? I stay here for 6 months. I'm ready to move on to another place for 6 months.
That's interesting. You put it this way because I'm about this far from taking that leap
Okay.
from uh, working remotely and leaving corporate.
Oh,
I'm right here. And so I've been thinking all of this over. And, Stephanie, I think I don't need a one place base
okay.
because I still can bop around, find out where I'd like to be in pre quote unquote retirement. And I still have Portugal to go to, and that's not,
Right.
I'm not doing that until next year.
Right.
So yeah, it's all, being mulled around, but that's a great point that I don't have to say, I pick a place
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not planned it. In fact, my friend Deborah
Uh-huh.
Ricks
Uh-huh.
says, you know what? If I don't like this place, I'm not planted. I'm not rooted.
That's right.
I can just get up. I'm not a plant. I don't have to stay here. I can just move anywhere I want. And
Yes.
so that is exactly what I can do. And
Yeah.
we think that that older model of having to find some place and to stay
Right.
put is the only way,
Right.
and it's not.
Yeah. Okay.
It is
Yes,
not.
especially because as a person who says that you haven't traveled a whole lot, it might, and you liked it,
Mhm.
you enjoyed the, even though you traveled quickly, going from Mexico City back to Oaxaca, back to Mexico City, that was quick. The pace was too fast for you. You liked the idea of
Yeah.
hitting up multiple locations. Yeah. So maybe
Mhm.
you just say, I'm coming to such and such a place for 6 months, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
if you don't like it, you pick up and go to
Mhm.
another place, right? Because maybe you get to Puerto Vallarta. I've seen Puerto Vallarta mentioned a few times here in the chat today, right? You might get there and be like, oh, I don't like it that much. Okay. Take your little three, four suitcases and go to the next place. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So you're talking
Exactly.
about being this close to leaving and not working. So right now the plan is for you to, right now you're working, but not a job that will let you work from Mexico. So you're looking for remote work, but you're
Yeah.
considering not looking for remote work and just going all in on a coaching business.
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Kathy
Coaching, writing, teaching,
retreats.
multiple streams.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Mhm.
Kathy was a participant in the Get Your Next Three Clients challenge that Rashida and I run. Right, Rashida and I live and get to live in and travel to the places that we love because of our own coaching businesses or our own online businesses. You don't have to be a coach,
Yeah.
but like having an online
Right.
business where you know that you that can support you from wherever, support you,
Yeah.
your life wherever you want that to be, is a
Mhm.
game changer, right?
Yes.
Remote work
Yes.
is good. Getting a remote job is a good thing if they'll let you work from any place. Um, but not having a job is always better. And running running a business is
Yes.
it is partially a job, but it's also not a job at all. Like you don't have hours that you need to
Mhm.
be in front of the
Right.
computer and. So I'm going to drop the link
Right.
to sign up for the wait list for the next Get Your Next Three Clients Challenge. It's at exodussummit.com/next three clients. It's a challenge where we take women who have either an idea for a business or an already fully formed business, and we work on your marketing strategy so that you know how to get clients, so that you know that you can run your business from wherever. All right. So you're welcome to sign up on the wait list for that challenge if you'd like.
Mhm. Yeah.
exodussummit.com/next three clients. Okay.
And
So,
and I did get 3 clients during that challenge, and what I know is that I could get 3 clients probably every 3 weeks or 4 weeks, or I'm sorry, three clients every week, and continue that cycle.
mhm,
Um, but what I'm experiencing is the fact that I am working, and time is key.
right.
And so if I had time, I could do the work that I really want to do and love.
Yeah.
And that's why not having this job
Yeah.
would be best.
Yeah.
And I know that I could be more successful. This is me. I don't want to impress
Right.
upon anyone else
This is for you.
what I believe, but it is for, I believe, especially coming back, that if I could have the time just to focus on that, which is most important to me, then I can leave that other my investors behind.
Yeah, Kathy calls her day job her investors. I love it. All right. I see you. Professor LCH says, leave the link to Kathy's retreat, please. I'm dropping it right now. Join the wait list for Kathy's 2022. I put the wrong year. 2022 Bali retreat.
Yeah, and
Okay.
if I can, if I can say that, I also you'll find that I do coaching, and there's different coaching packages on the website, but I also do mini retreats for individuals,
Uh-huh.
and that is something that I really would like to do more of.
Mhm.
And I got reminded that is something I offer by a woman, a Mexican woman
Uh-huh.
in while I was in Mexico. We met one another, and this happens to me quite often. She decided to tell me her business
Uh-huh.
and how she needed help with certain things.
Uh-huh.
And we were moving about Mexico City. She was trying to show me parts of Mexico, and I thought to myself, this could be like a a retreat
Mhm.
with this person.
Uh-huh.
And I provided her counsel. And
Okay.
it was just very organic. But she actually sent me a note and let me know that I was helpful to her.
Good.
And that is something that I have done in the past,
Mhm.
and I also offer that
Okay. S-
now.
Okay. So, all right. So so this is something that people can find out more about on Wellside Retreats
Correct, the
website.
website.
Okay.
Wellsideretreats.care.
Wellside Retreats.
And
Someone please click that link and make sure that I entered it correctly. Whoops, sorry. Wellsideretreats.care. If someone will click on it, please, I'd appreciate that. And then report back and let me know if I typed it wrong. All right. So you can get more information on working with Kathy at wellsideretreats.care because what your so I'm in Kathy's book club. So what Kathy is taking a combination of reading, journaling, and retreating. Let's say I would say that your coaching like world, your coaching universe is a combination of
mhm,
reading, writing, and retreating.
yes, and I consider those practices, especially the writing or journaling, reading for self help, and then as well as self introspection
Hmm.
comes from reading, and then within a group, it's almost like group counseling or
Yes.
group coaching, you know.
Yeah.
So and you can refer to a resource that you
Hmm.
have read and you share in common.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
It's something that it's a way to slow yourself down and take time, right? So
yeah.
yeah, we are very busy, right? We are very busy people. I by we I mean not me, I mean y'all, right? And, when you incorporate these practices, you have committed, which is what we talked about last week. Believe it or not, even though we're talking, the subject was rich men. We talked about committing time to your priorities. Thanks, friends, for letting
Yeah,
me know that the link works. Thank you very much for that. Because I didn't have it to copy and paste, so I just wanted to make sure that it was a good one. Yeah, committing time. If it's a priority to you, but it's not on your calendar, it's not a priority.
hmm
Sorry, I'm sorry, it's not. And
hmm
so the book club, the journaling practice, the retreats are a way to say it's a priority and actually put it on your calendar. Get it on your
yes,
calendar. That's my
yeah.
that's my like best advice.
I
Okay.
agree. I agree.
All right. So at Wellside Retreats, people can find out about many. So at Wellside Retreats, there's like a regular sign up for my newsletter link, and and from
Yes,
that newsletter, people can find out about mini retreats, about the
yeah,
book club, about
yeah,
everything, about the mega retreat that Kathy is running, the mini and the mega. Right? You can find out all about her
yeah.
coaching info there, and also she's on Instagram at Wellside Retreats also.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so I want to take a quick second and totally switch gears and talk about house sitting because you had some adorable house sitting clients. So let's talk about house sitting. When did you get started
Yeah.
house sitting, and why did you think it was going to be a good decision for you?
Okay. So that's the entree to me knowing all about you, Stephanie. So that was it's been over a year that I went through house sitting school,
Yep.
and it was truly because I was thinking about ditching my high paid rent,
Mm-hmm.
and how could I do that and learn so much more. And so I finally did my profile and registered and everything on Trusted House Sitters. And not until I moved from New Jersey to the Atlanta area did I have my first house sit
Yeah.
with two big dogs. And I did it locally, and I got my 5-star rating. I was geeked because they were gone for over a week. I
Okay.
actually stayed an extra day because they got delayed,
Oh.
and um, I worked and I watched those big dogs who loved all of my attention because their people were 4 children and 2 adults.
Hmm.
And those children ran them ragged and gave them a lot of attention. I had a great time because um, I missed my dog.
Yeah.
So I was able to care for them, walk them, run around the yard with them. I got my exercise,
Uh-huh.
and it was a great experience.
Good.
I didn't really need the accommodation. I was trying to get the 5-star rating so that I could go on. Then, right down the street from my sister's home where I'm staying, there was another house set in Alpharetta, and this was with a puppy. So I actually was part of the training for the puppy, and that was something.
I don't do those.
So
Yes. Yes, puppy. I
and
don't really do puppy sits because they need a lot.
yeah, he needed a lot, and but it works out good, and I've been called back several times,
Good. Oh,
and
good.
I
You've
actually
house sat for them multiple times? I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is he wanted to pay me,
Uh-huh.
and so I took him up on that.
Good.
I Yeah, and so and that was for, and he owes me a few um, remarks in Trusted House Sitter.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I can
Okay.
get, yeah.
Good.
So but one of the things that I did prior to, well, while making my plans to come to Mexico City, was kept checking Trusted House Sitters to see if there were sits in Mexico City. I never found one, but I did find one in San Miguel de Allende
Yeah.
right before I was leaving, and I just couldn't make the change.
Yeah.
So I keep up with, whenever I think that I need to get away,
Uh-huh.
even locally, I check Trusted House Sitters
Yeah.
so I can see if there's accommodation. So I enjoy it. I've enjoyed it.
Good. Kathy went through house sitter school before pandemic stuff, I'm pretty sure, because I remember us talking and then right away it was like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't know. Right. It went from
Yeah.
I'm about to not just house sit, but I'm about to leave my apartment and house sit full time because in the New York City area, you could have done that before
Yes.
the pandemic. Right. It went
Yes.
from that to who knows,
Yeah.
right? It went like
Yeah.
overnight. It went from I'm leaving my apartment to house sit full time to I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. In
Yeah.
fact, I had applied for 2 house sits in Manhattan,
Mhm.
and they had me on hold, and
Yep.
then finally they canceled their
Good.
their plans due to the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm
yeah,
glad that you got it in. You got those 5-star reviews. So
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
what's important. So if you're looking to house sit internationally, don't be afraid to start with a house sit that's
Mhm.
local. A local person is going to be much more likely to trust a stranger with no reviews than a person in
Mhm.
another country on another continent who, they have to worry about, are you even going to make your flight? Like, what is this person like?
Right.
A local person is
Right.
going to be more trusting of you,
Mhm.
So don't be
Mhm.
afraid to start locally. Good news is that you went down to Atlanta to after you downsized from the New York City area. You went down to Atlanta, where house sitting is also in abundance,
Yeah.
and you're able to get those reviews there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
There's even farms down here in Atlanta that they want you to house sit in.
uh yeah, yeah,
If
okay,
you want to do
yeah. All right. So congratulations to Tisha, who's house sitting right now in Fort
that.
Lauderdale. Congratulations. All right. Rebloom Room. I just applied for a couple of house sits yesterday. Good. Yes. All right. So
Mhm.
good. Okay. So I
Good.
wanted you to see that other people do house sit, right? I don't want to be the only person on here talking about it. I promise you, it's real. Kathy, listen to Kathy. She does house sit.
Yeah, yeah, I was all into Stephanie. I was looking at Stephanie while I was commuting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I was all in for house sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are places during normal travel times, there are places where I think you could house sit without having a home. London, New York, San Francisco, especially, and DC, I think, without
In
having
DC.
never have, like maybe you have a day or two in between house sits and you go to an Airbnb or
Mhm.
whatever in between, but like no place
Yeah.
to stay. And that was Kathy's first plan. Then you shifted gears and just moved down to Atlanta or down to
Right.
Georgia. Yeah.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That.
that was a good pivot. It was a good pivot so that
Yes.
you're not paying those newer prices anymore. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can do with that savings.
That's right. That's right. That's a lot of
There's a lot.
churros.
There's a lot of churros. There's a lot of savings. There's a lot of,
Hmm.
yeah, other stuff besides high price rent. Yeah.
Yes. Shelly Aaron, I just finished my first house sit in Chicago. Great find. Congratulations, Shelly. I don't know. Did I
Awesome.
know that? I don't. You guys, I'd ask you to report back. Well, this is. I'm sorry for yelling because you are reporting back. So thank you for that. But thank you for that, Lisa. Right now, most house sits are cats and dogs. During normal travel times, there are house sits that are not pet sits. But
Right.
during these times when people are mostly just going for a few days, most house sits are pet sits. But you can do like cats only. There are sometimes you'll see fish sits. I saw a rabbit sit recently. I'm
Hmm.
afraid of rabbits, so I didn't even look at it. But there are other animals besides cats and dogs. But most of what you're going to find right now is pet sitting. It just depends on what the pet is. I saw a koi fish sit in Hawaii earlier this in the spring. A koi fish sit, right? They had a koi pond and they don't want their fish to die while they're gone. All right, so I
Right.
have a whole house sitting playlist on my channel. I'm going to link to the house sitting playlist, and I'm going to link to my house sitter new house sitter toolkit, which is super helpful if you're new to the idea of house sitting. It has the link to the platform that I use, Trusted House Sitters. It has the actual letter that I send to get booked, the actual email,
Mhm.
right? It's got that in the new house sitter toolkit. So this is the link to the playlist. And then the new house sitter toolkit is here. I'll link to that there. It's super helpful information. Okay, so I brought Kathy here so you know the house sitting is real. Okay. If you've been dragging your feet because you're like, but still, Stephanie, you're the only person I ever hear talking about it. It's legit. Okay, it's real.
It's legit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Imani has house sat before. Elder abuse is a concern. Oh, Imani's talking about something else. But Imani Stewart, who's in the chat, Imani has house sat. So, Kathy, you talked about being paid. I want to be clear that house sits through Trusted House Sitters are unpaid. But you can take a client who you meet on who you've house sat for on Trusted House Sitters. If they want to rebook you and pay you off of the platform, no problem. If they want to refer you to their friends and those friends pay you, no
Mhm.
problem. Yes,
Right.
right? Off of the platform, yes.
Hmm.
I don't. Yeah, it's not a good story. It's not a good story. I'm not going to tell it again. I've told it once before. Yes. All right. Alicia says high price rent and mortgage is overrated. Glad you escaped
Yeah.
that. Can't wait to escape mortgage and chains of car ownership. Yes. So
Yes.
these things that we
Yes.
get told are the prize are really like
Yes.
they can be just an anchor that weigh you down.
Yes. Yes. It's just so freeing. Um, Someone in my family had a joke about me this week, and it was I'm gonna say it was a joke, but she basically said called me homeless, and I laughed because I don't see it as homelessness. I see it as house. I'm houseless.
Houseless. Yeah,
I don't houseless because I can make my home anywhere,
that's right.
and I've been feeling good ever since. I didn't have that thing around my neck, that apartment, that little box I was living. I called it a little box. It was a pretty little box,
Hmm.
and that little box cost a lot of money just because I was in the New York metropolitan area,
Hmm.
and it was stressful having that little box. Walking into that little box that had these cute amenities,
Yes.
and they were so cute, but when the pandemic hit, I couldn't use them.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I was stuck in my box.
Yeah.
And except, when I went out to walk or do whatever. But yeah, if you can, I don't want to preach to anyone, but if you can,
They don't mind.
just get get rid of your box, get rid of your stuff. get rid, um that's if that's the lifestyle you are choosing.
Yes.
You have to make that choice.
Yes.
And in fact, we were the book club book
Hmm.
um,
Yes.
was that we just had was basically how do you basically the guide to having less.
Hmm.
And it's freeing. It is really freeing. I feel really good being able to say, I don't have to worry about X, Y, Z.
Hmm.
I don't have to worry about that. And now talking about a box to check off. That's one of the boxes that I've had to check off. I'm
Yeah.
working on other things for self care and self help to get me to those other boxes, and that's the being financially stable and sustainable
Hmm.
for my future. So this is the process that
Yeah.
I'm choosing to do, and I encourage anybody else to do it.
So D Watt
They do.
says, "What happens if there's another pandemic? Where do you stay? You just get a place to stay, right?
You
Rent.
just
You
place,
can.
you know. Luckily, I have a mother, I have a sister, and I have a father, and they have couches, and they got the stuff.
Uh-huh.
So as long as they still love me,
Hmm.
or if I just depend on myself,
Go
I
to
can I
Mexico.
can go. Yeah, I can go to Mexico.
Go to Mexico, right? Go
Yeah,
to
I can go to
Mexico. Get a
Mexico.
$750 a month apartment, right?
Apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
So the
yeah.
option isn't either I stay in my expensive house or I have nothing, right? It's either
Right.
I stay in my expensive house or I go someplace with a lower cost of living, or like me, I live with my parents, or I
Hmm.
house sit, or I go to an Airbnb, or a mix of those things, right? Or I,
Right.
do work exchanges for free room and board. Right. There are a variety of ways to do it, and I do like four of those things. So
Hmm.
it's not either I have a home or I am just rudderless, right?
Right.
It's
It,
yeah.
I want to say that all of the stuff that we're talking about today are things that are within us. They are what people think you have to have stuff outside of you. All of this stuff that we talk about is abundance. That's
Yes.
what truly abundance is.
Yeah.
All of those talents, the skills, the resources that you have within you and that you can think of, you can do.
Yes.
And that's where the abundance comes in. The abundance to save money, the abundance for creating something that will then produce uh, income or
Yes.
streams of income.
Uh-huh.
Um, so yeah, I don't need another little fancy box.
Yes, yes. So,
Yeah.
Katrina, thank you so much for the super chat. Katrina Lilly has given you a super chat. Kathy's getting the super chat today. So, if you want to jump in and give her the super chat, if you want to leave her some cash for super surprise, hey girl, sorry. If you want to do Cash App, you can. My Cash App is $S Perry 302. Just say it's for Kathy. You don't have to say like anything that comes on Saturday. I know, but if you're watching the replay and this is like 2 weeks down the road, child, I'm using the money. If you don't tell me who to give it to, so so these are the ways that if you want to give Kathy a little thank you for her perspective, for giving us this info, right? The dirt, the facts, the dirt on her trip to Mexico, the
The
dirt on
tea.
house sitting, the tea. Okay, the tea. We like the tea better. The tea on these things. Super chat's going to Kathy today. Yeah. All right. So thank you for that,
Thank
Katrina.
you. Thank you.
Justice is calling it being a free range human, and I love that. I don't know how you
Yeah.
trademark something, Justice, but you need to. I can't find it now, but I did see it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you trademark an
Free
expression
range
or
human.
whatever, but you should. Okay. Yes, because that's a great way to say it. That's a great way to explain what it is, right? We're not
Yes.
yes, free range. We go where we want, right?
Mhm.
Except COVID, right? We go
When we,
where we want when we want.
yes, I love that.
Yes. I'm a fan. All right,
Yes.
Janelle, thank you very much for that super chat. Janelle says thank you. Wait, I'm trying to do it. Okay, Janelle says thank you. And Abba also
Thank
thank
you.
you. You are an inspiration, Kathy. Thank you, sis. Thank you for those super chats,
Oh,
friends.
thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So you talked a little bit about, hey, Joan, you talked a little bit about family, your family's impression or like idea of what you're doing. Can you talk
Hmm.
about, do you have any concerns about going to Mexico or Portugal, leaving your family here in the US? Because you're a
You
mom too.
know,
Like we haven't even brought that up. You have children as well, adult grown children. Yes?
hmm,
They're grown.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. I have a sister who is very outspoken. I have a very much a introverted sister who
Mhm.
will not say anything. So I have no idea. She
Okay.
just shakes her head and says, "Uh huh."
Okay.
And then I have my mother who, is fearful, but she's also doesn't want to be left behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feeling that she's being left behind.
Yeah.
My children, my son, who's 28, um, he's like, "Oh, that sounds cool," but he's got this, question mark circling his head,
Okay.
not understanding why I want to do this. And then I have my daughter who's like, "That's not a good look, Mom. You need to stay put."
Okay.
And I'm like,
So
hmm. So
nobody
I've
you have
all, huh?
nobody vocally like on your side in your family yet.
No,
Okay.
no. The kids think it's cool, uh, kinda,
Okay.
but no one is saying anything. And so with that, I realized that I have to do what is meant for me.
Yes.
Um, I've always been that way,
Okay.
um, but I've learned that I don't want any regrets uh, for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a regret when I graduated from college, undergraduate. My mother wanted me to come back from Washington, D.C. to California, back home.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to, but I did. And I regretted it then. And, it
Yeah.
shaped kind of like my trajectory out of college.
Yeah.
Um, and so I don't want to feel that way again. So I know that I have to do what I want to do. I've sent my children traveling the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's my turn to
Yes.
do what is best for me. I no longer have children. I don't have a spouse. I have no partner. I, I don't, I have me. And I have to do what is in my best interest. Everyone has the choice to do whatever they would like to do. I say make the choice.
Yes.
Do it for yourself. Just do it. And not until it's taken me a while to truly own that. I did that back in 2000. Let's see, 2007. I made a choice to do a lot of different things, and soon after that, I got in this pattern where I was just trying to again check boxes off until the right, quote unquote, the right time. And
Okay.
that was after the children left.
Okay.
Well, then I was sidelined by unexpected things happening in my relationship. And I had to then make choices again for myself. So, time, use time uh, for your betterment.
Yes.
Don't get behind it,
Yes.
get in front of it, or use it for your benefit. I think that's how it should be said.
Okay.
So yeah, I love family, but family's gonna be around, and they can be, you know.
Living their
In fact, I'm getting ready to write a post about reentry. I
okay.
write about a lot about retreating and going away, but what happens when you come back? They were all sitting here waiting for me. All
Yes.
kind of crap started happening when
Uh-huh.
you come back.
Uh-huh.
You have to be ready for the reentry.
Okay.
And families, I hate to say it, but families, depending on where you are in the family, sometimes, or your role in your family
Right.
unit, sometimes they can depend on you a
Yes.
little more than they should.
Yes.
But that's on who? Me.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. So
That-
I have to guide people to how they, treat me or how they see me. I have to take action.
okay. Hi, Tony. This is your friend. So Kathy and Tony have known each other for. No,
Hey.
Deborah is the one who you went to school with Deborah.
Yeah. Yes, Deborah. I went to
Okay.
school with Deborah, and Tony and I became friends through you all,
Okay. Okay.
and now we're buddies.
Yes.
And
Yeah. Yeah. So that's
yeah,
what you do. So if you don't, and I appreciate the comment also from KB, right? So if you don't have someone on your side in your family, you make a community of people on your side for your thing, right? You make
yes,
a community of people
yes,
who are like, yeah,
yes,
I think you need,
exactly.
I think you should do that. And I will, encourage you. I'll come visit you if I can't, even if I can't go with you, I will come and visit you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll share that when I came to Mexico, um, I knew in the back of my head that I was going to see these friends that I had not met in person,
Uh-huh.
these expats,
Yes.
um, but I knew that they got it because I got it from them.
Right.
I got the encouragement to move on and move forward
Uh-huh.
from others.
Yeah.
A lot of times we think we're alone in our thinking,
Uh-huh.
and but we aren't. And I'll say that once someone says something or breathes something into life,
Mhm.
um, it's like you can grab it and it becomes part of you.
Yeah.
So when I met you online
Mhm.
and you started talking about the house sitting, and then I hear sabbaticals, and then the Picky Girl talks about um, getting your
Money.
financial house in order, and just being unapologetic about doing it. You regret nothing, as she says. Yes, yes. You
Yes.
can't regret. You can't set yourself up to be regretful, because you that's baggage.
Baggage.
So
And we already know how that feels.
all of these, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We don't do
We don't
regret.
like
We
it.
don't. No, there's no such thing.
Mm-mm.
You just keep on moving. If things, you have to make it comfortable for yourself.
That's right.
And I think being uncomfortable and being curious is so rich.
Mhm.
Being uncomfortable enough to make it an adventure for
Yes.
yourself,
Yes.
with no regrets.
Yes. You already know
Right.
what regret feels like to carry that around. Nobody likes it. That's a feeling that I think universally we can say nobody likes that feeling. So you might as well learn, find out what the opposite feels like, right? What it feels like to say, I was afraid to do this thing and I did it, right? Try that.
Yes.
See if you like that feeling.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. See if you
Yes.
like
And,
that
and
feeling.
and that's exactly how I've been feeling. I did that. And whenever I do something, or take some action,
Hmm.
um, and I'm surprised at, wow, I did that.
Hmm.
God, it's such a rush.
Yes.
And so for those 3 weeks away that I was granted time,
Hmm.
that's how I see it. They gave me some time, um, that I don't want that anymore. I
Yeah.
want to create my time,
That's right.
um, that so that I can, do all those things I know that I can do.
Hmm.
I've been stuck on a few things that, that I haven't done, and it just bothers me,
Hmm.
that I haven't done them, uh, based on whatever the reason, procrastination, all of that stuff.
Yes.
It gets old.
It
It really
does.
gets old.
It does. All right. Thanks, friends, for the super chat. I've tried, so I thank you for
Thank
them.
you.
I appreciate them. Coach Janelle, I am going to answer your question about house sitting. Such an inspiration. Is house sitting an option for a family with kids? Yes. If you can get someone to write you
Oh,
a letter of reference that says that your kids are awesome, right? The kids are.
that's my friend.
Oh, hi, friend. Yes. Yes. Okay. So the deal with house sitting is that any client will, it's every client is an individual, right? So some would be like, sure, this is a house for a family of five. So I'm pretty sure that they would have accepted a house sitting family, right? As long as the family had someone to write them a letter of reference who said the kids were great, right? Not little terrors. Okay. There are other people who would be like, no, thank you. I don't want you house sitting with your kids in my house, right? Anything is in anything is up for negotiation as long as you're clear about what the situation is. There are people who house it with pets. There are people who house it with men. There are people who house it with children. Anything can be a yes. There are people who house it with their moms. Anything can be a yes. And so yes to families. I keep saying this and I haven't done it yet, but I need to find a family to come on and talk about house sitting. But yes,
Mm.
yes to that. I know of Tanaj and Tino, so I've interviewed them here on my channel. Tanaj and Tino house sat with their children, with their son, but he was 14 at the time. Um, but I need to find someone who has house sat with smaller children to show you. But the answer is yes. Yes to that. You
Mhm.
get your profile set up. You explain to people who you are. Are you a person who house sits solo? Are you a person who sits with your teen? Are you a person who house sits with your children or your dog or whatever? And you apply for house sits. People will say yes, or they will say maybe, let's talk, or they will say no, and you keep applying for house sits.
Right.
Simona, thank you for that super chat. Simona says, never too late to create your own path and live a better life. That's right. That's right. So we get stuck in this age thing of it's too late. It's something that you hear from people in their 20s, which is really odd, right? I'm 26. Is it too late to go to college? Like, what? What are you talking about? You just stopped wearing diapers, right? There are people, but then there are people, I think around 60s, there's another resurgence of is it too late to, right? I feel like
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not listening. I feel like women in our 40s we're pretty good with the idea that it's not too late yet, right? But once women gets
Mhm.
closer to 60, they again start to say, "Oh, I wish I had done these things. It's too late to do these things." But you're younger than you're going to be for the rest of your life. You're younger than you're ever going to be again. Right?
Yes.
So why not if you have an opportunity, take an opportunity. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
right. Did you ever feel like so you got divorced and then the kids were adults, did you ever feel like I missed my window?
You know, you go through this in my circumstance when you're kind of like taken aback by the course of events
Hmm.
of the divorce.
Hmm.
You know, I was on the train that was I was saying in my head, oh, I wasted so much time.
Ah.
30 years. I wasted so much time.
Mm.
Like, why didn't he tell me didn't want to be with me anyhow? I would have had more time, that kind of thing. I took too long to do the things that I really wanted to do, and I've done a lot of stuff. I will say I've done a lot of stuff, but it wasn't the stuff that I really wanted to do.
Okay.
So yeah, I was saying, gang. You talked about it last week, but I didn't see the video yet about putting yourself on the list for a new mate.
Yes.
I'm thinking, oh, I am too old to find him. I don't want to get married again, but I would like maybe
Yes.
companionship.
Yes.
I'd like to travel with someone.
Mhm.
And I was probably last year I was saying that's not ever going to happen. Well, I
Mm.
don't want to think like that anymore.
No. No.
you know, so so that will happen.
Mhm.
I'm not too old. I
Yes.
mean, people get married like in their 70s.
They do.
You
Yes.
you see
Yes.
those cute little weddings.
We don't know. So we really don't know. If you look at the numbers, we don't know how much more time we have. Like seriously,
That's right.
100 now is not that big of a deal. When I was a kid, when you got to 100, Willard Scott would be on the national news, right? You would be on national news when you hit 100 years
That's
old. Today, who cares, right?
who
Everybody knows
cares? Yeah,
100.
who
Everybody
cares?
knows
And
somebody who's 100.
yeah,
So we don't know
and
how much longer we have. And so to think that it's too late for something, man, you're just setting up the next, like, could be 60 more years for you to be
yeah,
like,
that's
oh,
right.
it's too late. I wish I had. Like, do you
That's
really want
right.
to carry this regret for 60 years? If you want something, you're going to say that you want it. We're doing this, right? If you want it, say that you want it, write it down, and then put it on your
Right.
calendar somehow, right? That's the next step.
That's right.
Put something on
That's
your
right.
calendar that reflects that you want this thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And there was someone who just Janelle who just
Hmm.
popped in about the trusted house sitter.
Okay.
She's my physical coach.
Oh,
She's the one who So I she keeps me in check, and I'm doing pretty good.
good.
And so because I was thinking, dang, I gotta get myself feeling good about how I look. That's my
Hmm.
own, that's my subjective thing. I need to feel good about how I look,
Uh-huh.
so somebody else will feel good about how
Okay.
I look.
Okay.
I'm not into, I don't know what you call it. Just the
I,
aesthetics
oh,
of
okay.
catching a man.
Okay.
I'm not that way,
Hmm.
because that will fade over time. It's
Hmm.
all up in the head to me. If you can turn me on with what you say, and I can do that. But physically, I want to feel good about
Right.
myself.
That's right.
So it's not too late to do that. It's not too late for me to feel and look the way I want to feel.
Yes.
So, Stephanie, I'm going to take you to a place where we were going to go. I felt I was too old to go stay in a hostel.
Yes. Oh, that's right. I forgot all about the hostel thing. Yes.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, I felt that I was like, God, there's going to be a whole bunch of young people there. I'm
Uh-huh.
not going to fit in there. I'm not going to, and I looked around for what I considered to be kind of like a mature-ish
Yes.
type of environment and setting. I looked at the hostel world, a lot of the places that I think I would have, quote unquote, fit in the hostels were, I think, near the airport. And I was like,
Yeah.
no, I don't want to be by the airport.
Right.
So, so when choosing that and going to the hostel, it was fine
Hmm.
with the demographics, so to speak, the
Hmm.
youth. I wasn't going to be sitting around and trying to make plans with anyone necessarily to
Hmm.
go out or anything. I just knew I wanted a room by myself,
Hmm.
either with the bathroom in the room or close by.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I got.
Good. All right.
And I wasn't too old to sleep in a room.
That's right. So hostels
Right?
in the U.S. we kind of think of them as youth hostels because there is such a thing as
Right.
a hostel. We think of them as
Exactly.
for young people, but in a lot of the world they never left hostels even after they got old, right? Even after they were no longer youth. Never stopped
Yeah.
staying in hostels. So in a lot of the world, it's
Mhm.
perfectly normal to see women our age in hostels. I've met a woman in
Yes.
her 70s, I think. She actually had a blog and she gave me a business card and everything about solo travel in her 70s. I met her in a hostel. You see families, you see parents and children staying in hostels
Right.
because
Right.
a hostel is basically just a place with shared space, but you can get a private room. You can get a private room in a
Yeah.
hostel. You can get a private room and a private bathroom in a hostel if you want to pay that,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? But then you
Right.
have the
Right.
shared kitchen. Sometimes you'll have like some other
Mhm.
community space, a bar, a coffee shop, something, some other shared space in the hostel. So
Right.
you stayed in
Right.
a
And
hostel in Mexico City, where a lot of the travelers, where they're going to be like travelers from all over and all ages.
yes. And it was open door. I mean, people were coming in and leaving, coming, going out, leaving. Um, and I respect that whole concept because it's a temporary deal.
Hmm.
Now I'm gonna say that the hospital I chose is what's the name of it? I always get it all mixed up.
Okay.
Metro Boutique Hostel, and it was in Roma Norte,
Okay.
the area. And I picked it after canceling one hostel because I took a look at pictures of the first place a
Uh-huh.
second time. I
Uh-huh.
said, I don't remember it looking like this. It
Hmm.
didn't appeal to me.
Hmm.
So I changed and went to the Metro Boutique Hostel,
Good.
and I was a little put off by it because it had these it was modern architecture mixed with old architecture,
Hmm.
and it looked strange to me. But I thought it's kind of cool. The rooms were a lot of single rooms, and it got really good reviews on it. It got fabulous
Yes. Yes.
reviews, and so I got there, and I was actually very pleased with
Okay.
it until
Mm.
the next day. That evening there was a lot of noise, but I
Yes.
was okay with noise.
Hmm.
And then they darkened everything, which was great. But the um, the bathrooms, they had plumbing issues.
Oh God.
So it was the toilets and the showers, and then they would close one bathroom, so I have to go to another one around the corner. So then didn't become
Right.
private to me. And I was walking around with my robe on or my sweatpants, and
Uh-huh.
you know,
Okay.
didn't feel so comfortable.
Mhm.
Got to the other one, and it wasn't clean. They were just having a really hard time with plumbing. So I stayed there for 2 nights, no, 3 nights.
Okay.
And then I said, no,
Yeah.
I can't do this again. And it was fine. And the people were nice. It was just a bad time. And it was, and because it was a quad type
Hmm.
building, old colonial quad with the terraces and stuff in the middle
Hmm.
of the building, and it was raining. It was moist
Uh-huh.
and lots of mosquitoes. So
Hmm.
I said, "Oh no, I have to I have to go."
Hmm.
And luckily, I was able to pivot. Now, see, had I spent over in my budget,
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't have been able to pivot to go somewhere else on a whim. So have some mad money, as they call it back in the day, or
Uh-huh.
man money. Have a little extra in your pocket so you can make that shift, make that change if you needed to. And I just got on the computer one that after that third night,
Uh-huh.
typed something in, boutique, hotel, whatever. Because the Airbnbs that I would have stayed in, they didn't have room for me at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Last minute.
I found a place and got in, and it was more than I wanted. I
Hmm.
wanted to pay initially, but because I could, I did,
Okay.
and to make myself happy.
Yes. Yes. Did you book that
Mhm.
hostel through Hostel World, and did you get a refund or a partial refund?
I did book it through Hostel World.
Mhm.
I did not ask for a refund.
If
I
there
asked them not to. Go ahead.
if there are plumbing issues, like if something that you should have is not there, you should
I
not
should have
pay
left.
you should not pay that amount. So I would,
Yeah, I
yeah,
go back and get that.
I would from
Yeah,
Hostel World, go back to Hostel World, and Hostel World will go back to the hostel.
yeah.
Yes. So with
They.
hostels, you want to make sure that so there are some things you're just not going to know to look for, right? Like the quad
Mhm.
and the rain and the mosquitoes. You're just not going to know
Right,
that that's going to be a problem if you've never stayed in a place like that with the with where the rain comes
right,
inside the building. You just don't know.
right.
But the plumbing and the problems like that, the reviews, so they probably have had problems before, and there's even with those phenomenal reviews, you have to read and pour through them and see what is it really like, and make sure the pictures are giving you, for somebody who's brand new to hostels, make sure the pictures are showing you the bathroom, showing you not just your
Mhm.
room and the common area. Show me the kitchen, show me the bathroom.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Now when I stay in a hostel, I stay in a dorm room, which means that there are bunk beds. And I always, when I book, I always say bottom bunk if available, and most of the time I do get the bottom bunk if it's available. But even if you're
Oh,
staying in a private room, you're going to want to and but a private room but with a shared bathroom, you're going to want to look at that bathroom and see what does it look like. I can't stand trough sinks. I can't believe people like the idea of the trough sink. It's so disgusting. Who wants to brush their teeth next to a
no.
person in a trough sink? I can't, I hate it, right? I hate them.
Mm,
So there's some things you just don't know until you've tried them. I was once, right? I only made that mistake one time of booking a hot. Ugh, right?
mm,
No trough sink. So you just want to see what's happening. Some stuff you're not going to
yeah,
know until you've tried it out. Other stuff, there's going to be some nice surprises. Sometimes you'll stay in a hostel and they'll have like we're doing a wine night,
yeah,
BYOB, but it's community because they do a lot of
yeah,
things to foster community in hostels.
yeah. They had some nice events. They had I actually well, I almost signed up for a dance class, and but it wasn't the right day or time.
Okay.
There was a conflict, so I didn't do that.
Yes.
But I liked it. It was the sanitation,
Yeah.
and I was like,
You that there's no coming
yeah,
back from that. You're not going to like right. There's not going to be a good experience. No,
mm-mm,
no. That's a basic
mm-mm,
need that
no.
you need, right? You need the plumbing to be working. You need it to be clean. You need the temperature to
Yeah,
be right. Right. You need a
right.
comfortable bed.
Yeah,
If you don't have these things,
yeah,
no matter how cute the decor is, you're not going to enjoy
yeah,
it. Hostels do a good job with
yeah,
cute decor, right? They do really, cute
yeah.
stuff.
They do. They
But
do. And the bathrooms were all open and dry when I got there. They were fine. I
yeah.
walked around, I used them. It was after they had been used by people at night or in the morning
Uh-huh.
is when,
Mhm.
you know, I guess they were over, and they even did my laundry for
Oh, did
50
they?
pesos. Yeah. They did laundry for 50 pesos and folded it and gave it back, so, so, but by the third night, I was like, no,
No,
I still
no.
have some more time. I had a lot more
Mhm.
time that I was spending there, and I couldn't do it. But I won't say that I will not do it again. I will try another hostel. I
Okay.
think I would try that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're going to someplace that's a little more expensive, hostels are super helpful, right? When you're
Yeah.
in a place
Yeah.
where things are less expensive and you can afford an Airbnb, you know, so for me, for part of my sabbatical, my gap year, that year that I traveled, part of it I would not have been able to do without hostels, right? Australia, I can't afford I like hotel room in Australia is my full week's budget, right? So, right, hostels helped me out significantly in some
Okay.
places. In other places, you might be like, you know what? I'd rather just get an Airbnb or I'd rather stay in a hotel. Tony
Yeah.
says, thank you both for this inspiration and encouragement. Just what I needed. 55 and about to be free. You're very welcome, Tony. We're glad you're here. Thank you. Yes. So I hope that anybody who is considering staying in a hostel because of the for budgetary reasons knows that there's some things you're going to need to check right before you book,
Yeah.
and then other stuff like just be prepared if things go left, if you get there and they've decided to stop cleaning for some reason, right? Their cleaning people have quit it, but for whatever reason you're going to
Right.
need to work on a figure out, know what your alternative is, right? Know what your
Alternatives were,
alternative
yeah,
is. Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And I suggest that. And so the place that I ended up going was a bed and breakfast. It
Good.
wasn't a Airbnb, but it was a bed and breakfast. And it was it was it was rated on Trip Advisor very highly. It's called, if anyone's interested, El Patio 77, and it was located in the neighborhood or the borough or district called San Rafael,
Okay.
and very nice,
Good.
very nice. And however, I'm just, I just think I'm blessed sometimes.
Okay.
The day before, I know I'm blessed, but the day before I'm checking out, I hear a woman coming into upstairs who's being shown her room next to mine, and she just turned out to be an ugly American. And I'm saying, I'm
uh,
so glad I'm leaving tomorrow.
Oh, what did she do, Kathy?
Oh, she was awful. She was horrible. She had just flown in from Tulum. She was kind of bossing
Hmm.
the woman around who was the innkeeper. Um, she when she was left in her room, she was smoking. There's a big old sign that no smoking, and then she was smoking weed. And I said, "Oh, it's definitely my trip is over. Thank God." And I didn't meet her. I didn't meet her um, until the next morning,
Okay.
and she was not she was an ugly American. Uh,
Yes,
and I was
yes.
like,
We
yeah,
talk a lot about going to Mexico, but in some of these places, you're going to run into a lot of Americans there. That's what I try to
yeah,
explain to people who have watched my video interview with Queen Michelle. She talked so lovingly about the Lake Chapala area, but it's 50% Americans and Canadians, right? If part of the reason for leaving the United States is to get away from American people, white Americans, that may not be the best choice for you, right?
yeah,
They go they because not we, they go
yeah,
places and take the same attitude and the same rudeness with them.
yeah,
So yeah, pick
yeah.
wisely.
And all of the stuff that we talk about, leaving, getting away from America.
Hmm.
She was coming into this very quiet place, um, talking about the ugliest stuff that was happening in America.
Right, they do that
Um,
all the
it
time.
was just horrible. And I was thinking, well, you're not there, so let's not talk. I don't have a conversation for you. And she had a little dog who she allowed to kind of run
Mhm.
around. I did not know that, I didn't care about the dog running around,
Mhm.
but the dog was not tended to, and uh, he's the dog of an ugly American, so he was acting ugly, and So he is peeing and pooping everywhere. And I just felt so like, oh, it's time for me to go. It's time for me to go. And I didn't want to go. I did
Yeah.
not want to go. I didn't want to leave, you know?
Yeah.
But she was like, I wanted to leave her and
Mhm.
all the stuff that she was bringing with her, that energy. And yeah, so I
Yeah, they
left
do.
her and that night, and she had just ordered her a big old bottle of something. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, thank you, God.
Time that just right. Yeah, they do that. They
Timed
want to
it.
go to Mexico and talk about American stuff, right? Like we left that.
Yeah,
I thought you had left that for a reason. Why are we here talking
right.
about this stuff? They just kill the whole atmosphere, kill your whole vibe.
Yeah,
Like you
the
got to get up
whole
and go.
vibe. And in fact, the innkeeper was like, the one with the I'm gonna call it ugly American.
Mhm.
She left for a moment, and the innkeeper, all she could do was sigh, and
Yes.
she was trying to say, "Oh, I don't want her here," but she paid me, you know.
Mhm.
She paid me money for, you know, because the businesses, they need
Of
the
course.
clients. They
Yeah.
need, and she was like, and she said something in Spanish, and I was like, yeah, whatever that is, I'm with you. You know, I feel bad for you,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The good news is
So
they don't seem to, even though people immediately interpret American as American, right? No matter where I go, boom, they know I'm an American. They don't seem to classify me with the white Americans, even though they will still call
that's
me a
right.
gringo. If they're
That's
talking about
right.
gringos, they still mean me, right? People
Yeah,
from the United States, but they know there's a difference. They know
yeah.
we're not the same.
Let me. Yes, another interesting thing about this last place I was staying, El Patio,
Uh,
the innkeeper says to me, tomorrow we're going to have a special breakfast and you'll be able to meet some of my other visitors. I said, okay, no problem. I had had a great breakfast that morning.
mhm,
And so the next morning I come down um, and I open up no, I sit down in this patio area, and in walk two brown women,
mhm.
one black and one Indian. They were a couple, and they sit down, and then she invites another woman who was there co-living, who was Mexican, and so we all sat and had breakfast together, and the vibe was just awesome. So that if someone asked, is there anything surprising on this trip? That was surprising.
Okay.
And the black woman, two black and brown women were from New York City, and the
Ah,
black woman spoke perfect Spanish.
good.
Yeah. And so, I was like, that was another blessing.
Uh-huh.
And you just don't know who you're going to meet. And that's
Yeah.
the beauty in all of this travel
Yeah.
stuff. You
Yeah.
just don't, yeah. And in
It,
fact, I got an invitation to go to Iceland last week with those two women. They wanted to know if I wanted
oh,
to travel.
are you going to do it? Are you going to
No,
go?
they're gone.
Oh,
They're there now.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I could just drop things like that. That's the kind of life I want.
Soon. Soon come. Soon come. Yeah.
Soon
So,
come, soon come.
yes, yes. That's a wonderful
Mhm.
thing about staying in these kind of accommodations. So, yeah, I know you were in a bed and breakfast, not a hostel. But I've had those
Right.
same experiences, right? Where one of my favorite pictures of me in the world is a picture of me floating um, in a waterfall that waterfall that came into a pool, right? I'm floating there.
Okay.
I'm only in that town because a white woman from the Netherlands was like, "Hi, I'm Claire. We're staying in this hostel, whatever town we were in. I'm going to this town next. Do you want to go too?" And I was like, "Okay." Right? I got nowhere to be. And
Right.
'cause I did you do a quick Google search, you look at a couple images. I'm like, okay, I want to go to that town. Man,
Yeah.
it was a beautiful town. And then the men who ran the hostel took us to the little waterfall thing.
Oh,
And yeah,
nice.
it's a
Nice.
beautiful picture, but it was a beautiful experience that I would not have had if I hadn't been sitting at breakfast and Claire says, "Do you want to go to this place with me?" So this is the
Mhm.
one of the beauties of a shared accommodation versus like a
Yeah.
plain hotel.
Yes,
I'm going to say,
exactly.
yeah, there.
And it was perfect.
Yes. Guest
It was
houses.
clean.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry, Stephanie. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so don't just think hostel, right? There are guest houses and bed and breakfasts. I am
Hmm.
J. Phil says, what are good websites for accommodation? I like to book hostels through, I look to research hostels through Hostel World. I use
Hmm.
usually hotels.com to actually book them because I use that rebate site, which is Rakuten, used to
Right.
be Ebates, right? So you
Right.
get a rebate
Hmm.
and stuff if you use hotels.com.
Hmm.
Any site that gives
Yes.
good reviews. I found hotels.com reviews are not as helpful as Hostel World reviews. So if it's listed on Hostel World,
Hmm.
go there to read the reviews, even if you don't book it through
Yes.
Hostel World,
Yes.
because these are experienced travelers who are probably gap year, like 1 year travelers, or who have more experience than someone who is just staying in a hotel for a weekend. So they're going to have
Right.
more. They know what to write in a review for the next person. Um, so I like Hostel World for the reviews. And then other stuff, really, I just book on hotels.com. I don't have a good place to do. How did you find, you looked, and Airbnb, of course. So you found this place, the second place on Airbnb, Kathy?
No, I actually found it. I just did a quick Google search,
Uh-huh.
and they were listed on with TripAdvisor.
Okay.
Um, they came up with
You did say that.
TripAdvisor,
You
and
said that.
probably about eight boutique or B&Bs came up, and they just so happened to have the dates, the availability that I
Good.
needed, and they were actually the less expensive.
Good.
So, and instead of booking through TripAdvisor, I went directly to their website and booked, and actually got more off.
Good.
Yeah. So, and knowing now a little bit about them, they've been struggling during the pandemic,
Yeah.
so they're trying to get people in.
Yeah.
And the couple that I met, um, they had been there 5 years ago
Oh.
when there was no pandemic,
Uh-huh.
and she loved the place. She raved about it, and so it was just confirmation to me that I had, you know, God, the universe was, with me that
Yes.
last leg.
Good.
No
Good.
matter how you see it, and I see things, I see challenging things as not being bad. They're just things that happen to tell you to do something else. Or
Mm-hmm.
they're just, you got to switch your things. So don't come down on yourself. I had to pay a little bit more money, but you know what? I had it. I actually had it. It was kind of like my mad money.
Yeah.
So,
Joanne B. Kirk
yeah.
says watching today has helped her figure out that she's not too old to have a second chance at life. Right? Joanne's 68 and looking forward to doing what she wants to do. I'm gonna disappear from the screen for just a second because y'all's girl Truffles is acting bad and I gotta go stop her.
Uh-oh.
But if you will give Joanne a few words about this, right? So I
Okay.
have given my sermon on not being too old and not being too late. It's your turn, Kathy.
Okay. So Joanne, I'm 58, and I by 68, I'm gonna have that partner, that traveling partner, that man that I'm manifesting, that I'm not too old to manifest, um, and just start doing it. I'm so glad that you you realize you got those words from us that are going to be encouraging to you to move forward in anything. You have second or maybe even a third chance
Mm-hmm.
at life.
Mm-hmm.
I really, Stephanie was just talking about longevity nowadays, and you know, with our knowledge to keep ourselves healthy. See, at one point, we didn't have that knowledge, but we are bombarded about health information now. Um, and keeping yourself healthy and having the time. So at 68, I don't know if you're retired or not, but it's time now.
Yes.
If you haven't retired yet, I'll tell you that my father worked until he was 80 years old, full time. And as soon as he retired, he slowed down because it was so stressful to not do that pattern. And he hadn't done the things that he wanted to do. So do them now while the time is right, and the time is right now, and make yourself happy.
Yes.
For this second chance at life that you've labeled.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Because we say life is short, but life can be long, right?
Life.
Especially if you're doing something you don't want to do.
That's right. That's right. That's right. What do they say? The people say, keep on living. Yeah, keep on living, but live well, live happily.
Years ago, Jim Carrey did a speech at a school, and he talked about his father took what he thought was the more comfortable route, or the easier, not the easier route, but the safer route in life. His father was an accountant or something, but he wanted to be a comedian. And he said, and his father, of course, was laid off from his accounting job. And that's when he learned that you can fail at doing your plan B, right? You can decide, okay, I'm going to take the safer route. I'm going to do plan B because it's safer. And then you can still fail at it. And then you, like you said about your marriage, not that this is equal to your marriage, but then you're looking back like, I wasted that time doing this. I could have been doing plan A.
That's right. That's right.
So we're going to just go all in on plan A.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Go on, Joanne.
Go on, Joanne.
Show us those pictures.
Go on, Joanne. That's right. That's right.
Joanne.
You can try to take the safe route or the route that someone else is saying is the right one, and still have it not work out. Right. So
that's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked about, okay. So I do want to squeeze in one more thing. Kathy has a new YouTube channel, which I'm going to link to. Kathy has a new YouTube channel. What's so funny, Kathy? I didn't tell a joke.
I know it's not a joke, but I haven't done a YouTube video in so long, Stephanie. Thank you for promoting my YouTube video.
We're going to talk about the channel because as a person who coaches people on their YouTube channel, right? I think it's important to as a person who coaches people who want an online business. I think it's important to have.
Yes.
I don't think there's no mystery that I think that if you want an online business and you need to get customers from the internet, I think you should have a YouTube channel, right? And so Kathy, even though she's laughing, Kathy does have a YouTube channel, and it hasn't been the longest time because. Let me go back. Now that you start, now I can't even find the link that I had saved. But what I want to say about having a YouTube channel is, if you are a coach or someone who is looking to find clients from the internet, I think you should have a YouTube channel. I think that it can be a lot of effort. Kathy's got a job and a day job, the investors and all of that. It can take a lot of effort to, it can take a lot of effort. But I think that if you want to get people from the internet to work with your clients, I think that you should have a YouTube channel. And Kathy has it.
That's right. And I have had the best coaching and encouragement, I will say, on how to do this and how to go live. I one thing that one of the fearless leaders told me is when I said to her, that's Adelia, said to her, I haven't done a video in a while. She says, just as long as you don't quit, you don't give up, don't give up doing that. Yeah. And I hear her with that, and I hear everything that you all have told me. So there will be plenty of content because content is king.
Content is king. So it's important.
Yes. So content is queen.
I am team quit things. So it's okay to quit things if you find that this is not the thing for you. Okay. If it's
Oh,
just I haven't made a video, so I should quit. That's not it. That's not the case. But if you really don't want to make a YouTube channel, if you don't want a YouTube channel, don't have a YouTube channel, right? But if
right.
it's just like, oh, it's been a month or 2 months and I haven't posted a video, that's all right. That's okay. Um, so we know we have strategies. We've worked on strategies for your channel that are more important than consistency.
Yes.
I'm gonna just say it. Consistency is not going to get you success from a YouTube channel. Consistency is not going to bring you clients if you're a coach, right?
Yeah.
Consistently making videos without a strategy is not going to bring you coaching clients, friends,
Right.
anyone here.
Right.
Okay. So consistent. So then hopefully that makes you feel better about being inconsistent on your channel.
That's
Okay. Feel better about being inconsistent as long as you're strategic. So we've talked about in the
that's right.
combination of the Get Your Next Three Clients Challenge and the YouTube coaching, we've talked about the strategy on how to teach YouTube who your viewers are. That's more important
Right.
than consistency. I'm gonna say that, right?
That's right.
I
That's right.
we
That's right.
consistency is a buzzword out there, but uh, I'm team do as little as possible, so that's not my main concern. Yeah. So yeah,
Right.
but I just wanted to bring
I,
up your channel to let people know if you're in the coaching business, Kathy is working to make the transition, whether it happens in a few months or later down the road. She's working to make the transition from employed to coaching. Coaching is her source of income coaching and retreats are her source of income that
yes.
support her life abroad, right? YouTube
Yes.
is a piece of that puzzle. And I
Yes.
think it's an important piece of that puzzle. KB
Yes.
says you have a lovely on screen personality, so keep making videos. I would happen to agree with that. I happen to agree with that.
KB.
Yes.
Thank you. I
Yes,
appreciate that.
I agree with that. Yeah. So I just wanted to talk about that. I've linked to Kathy's channel. You know what she's going to be talking about, right? She's going to be talking about retreating. She's going to be talking about journaling. She's going to be talking about looking inward for this next part of your life. So looking
Right.
inward
Right.
and then going out. Looking
Out.
inward and then doing things. Not just we're not going to just
Yes.
be thinking
That's
about
right.
things. We're going to be doing
That's
things.
right. That's right. Yeah, it's a lot of inner work um, to make transitions. Change is, inevitable. We go through change from birth,
Yes.
and when you become more mature and aware, you have to do the work when life calls for some transition. The only transition that I would say that is difficult to just move through or to change something in is grief, and that is grief of or loss of someone that you love or care for. Um, we all handle grief differently, and there's usually not a end to thinking about someone that you care about.
Right.
So that takes time. The other parts of transition or in your life can be quick to
Hmm.
methodically happening, but it takes inner work, and
Yes.
that's part of my coaching, being actively working on self.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Because we want, right, like you said, you know what regret feels like. We want to feel the
Yeah,
other stuff. We don't want to
that's right.
just keep piling regret on top of regret on top of regret.
That's right.
Too much time left
That's
for
right.
that.
There's no time.
There's too much.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Steph is soft and strong. Don't let her do it. What do you mean? What did I say? Did I say something that was a little bit out of?
Yeah.
I think I said the right thing. Right?
Don't let her do
What did I
her.
say, Professor? I don't know what I said. I just told Kathy, make a choice, but don't feel like you
Oh,
have to, don't feel like
I want to do YouTube videos. I want people to hear. I want people to hear what I have to say. I have a lot of good stuff to say,
yes,
and I know that YouTube is going to help me
yes,
um, get the audiences
uh-huh.
using the strategies that have been put before me. Um, I I more and more, the more you do these things, the
Mhm.
more you get comfortable with them. And I need to take the time to do them. So
Yes. Yeah.
Stephanie's cool.
Put it on the
Stephanie's up.
calendar. We
Stephanie's
got to
cool.
wait, Kathy
Yes,
and I.
thank you.
Kathy is my
On the
friend.
calendar.
Yes, put it on the calendar. Yeah, put it on the calendar. Cutie Pie. Okay,
Yeah.
so I chastised Cutie Pie last week and I sent an email about you. I don't know if you're on my email list, Cutie Pie, but I even sent an email about you saying you're
Yay.
starting a channel. Okay, we're not starting a channel, we're
Awesome.
putting a video up, right? We can spend months
Awesome.
starting a channel. Just put a YouTube video up. So I'm glad to hear that you have
Yes.
a video coming tomorrow. I'm excited. We're all excited. Okay, once you do it,
Yes.
email me the link to it, please. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we're
all you
doing.
gotta do is say post and subscribe. Ring
That's right. That's right.
and notifications. Ring the little bell for notifications.
Turn on notifications so you'll be notified. That's right. That's right. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so we've covered the scouting trip to Mexico. We have covered the staying in the hostel. We've covered we talked a little bit about downsizing. We've talked about the YouTube and the coaching business. Okay,
Mhm.
so it's been 2 hours. I didn't ask you if you had a deadline, but if you did, it's past. If you did, if you had a time when you needed to be done, that time is long gone. Okay, so
No, no, I had no deadline. I'm clear. I'm
okay,
clear. I have a
good,
few things later today, but I'm good. I'm
good,
good. It's been great. It's been great. It went by
good.
fast to me.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I know. It's always fun. It's so much fun to talk to you, but it's always fun.
Yeah.
And when everybody's in the chat participating, thank you, friends in the chat participating. It makes things
Thank you.
so much easier, so much more fun. Yeah. All
Thank
right.
you so much.
All
Thank
right.
you, everybody. Vacarians.
Yes, thanks, Big Harry. So the super chat, I'm sorry if I didn't acknowledge your super chat, but we do see it. So thank you very much for that. That's going to Kathy. So thank you. So that'll that'll help reimburse her for that money, the hostel, the bad hostel money.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so thank you for that super chat.
I appreciate
And
you.
next week we're talking. Okay, so more on this similar theme. We're talking tiny houses with Jewel Pearson. I'm excited about that. If you've yes,
Oh,
if you have seen a black woman talking tiny houses on HGTV, it was probably Jewel, right? Because she's the only one I've seen. So
I I've had a consultation with her,
have you?
and I was supposed to this month go to North Carolina to see her house, but I didn't haven't we haven't hit up together.
Okay.
So yeah, that's
I
awesome.
know. I'm so excited.
Awesome.
I'm so excited. So that's next week. That's what we're talking next week. I also
That's
saw.
awesome.
Yeah. I can't wait. I also want to say I saw a couple of in the chat. I saw a couple of people saying I want to book a call with you. I want to book a call with you. And I'm sorry, I have not been giving you the link to book a call with me. I even had a call with someone yesterday, and she was like, "I didn't know you even did one-on-one calls until your last video." So I'm sorry. Here's the link. Okay. I like to talk, as you can see. If you want to talk to me about house sitting, about moving abroad, about planning a sabbatical, about a YouTube channel and a coaching business, you can book a call with me, vicarious.com/call me. All right. Um, and that's it. Yes, we're talking tiny houses. Yes. Okay. So, yes. Okay. So that's the link to that. I've left the link a couple of times to Kathy's retreat. Also, we'll leave the link one more time to Kathy's um, website in general, right? So maybe you don't want to get on the retreat wait list, but you do want to get in on the book club. I'm a member of a book club. And we don't know yet what we're reading next month, right?
No, we won't know until next week.
Yes.
It'll be
This month
posted.
I kind of bashed the book. I'm sorry you weren't there because I kind of bashed the author of the book. I think we both gently
Yeah.
bashed her. We
Yeah.
lightly gathered her.
It wasn't what we expected it to be. You for one reason and me for another. But that's what book clubs are all about.
Yes. Right. So that's
Can I plug two
please,
books?
please, please.
Okay. Kirsten Brown's book called "So You're Inspired Now What," and of course Jay Freedom's book. Oh, I can't even
We
What's
out.
the
Oh,
name
this
of it?
channel, we know that book.
Get Out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so everybody knows those two. Those were two of the books that I had in my book club, and I tend to like independent writers only because they have wiggle room
Yes, that's
to
right.
to truly express themselves, and they need to have their words read. So I'll probably be picking another independent writer for August.
Okay, good. Yes, we talked to Jay. We've actually talked to both of these authors, but Kirsten, I didn't know she had a book. Like seriously,
Kirsten has a
we
book.
talked about
That book
teaching
is
English.
and it's a little ebook that is well written and because I'm going to just say something really quickly.
Okay.
I've been inspired by so many women who are younger than me,
Yes.
and Kirsten Brown is on the younger side,
Yes, she's very young.
but she has the greatest way of expressing herself and her point. You
Yeah.
get it right away,
Uh-huh.
and I think it's because of her youth.
Yes. Yes.
and
That's right.
so yeah, yeah. So if you can read that quick book, which has been revised, yeah. So you're inspired now. What?
Uh-huh.
It's awesome, awesome, awesome.
Good. Yeah.
Both on Amazon.
Good. If you're watching the replay, I'll link to it in the description. If you're still here,
Okay.
you made it. This is a long one. If you're still here watching the replay or listening to the replay, I'll link to both of these books in the description. Jay's book. Anyway, so we've talked. Yes. Oh, anyway, I'll link to them in the description, so you'll be able to find them easily. Okay. And then
Yeah.
the book club again, Shelley. The book club. If you go to wellsideretreats.care, you'll see info to get on Kathy's email list. What you want to do is get on her newsletter so that when the next book is announced, she'll send you the link to the book club. Right? You sign up for the
Right.
book club, and then Kathy sends you the link to the Zoom. So you go either
Right.
to Wellside Retreats website, or her handle on Instagram is also Wellside Retreats. So that's how I found out
Yes.
about the book.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And if anyone wants to use email, you can do so at info@wellsideretreats.com.
This
If
is
you want
.com.
more information.
This
Dot
one is
com.
.com, not .care.
Correct. The
Okay.
email.
Okay. All right.
info@wellside. Yes. Great,
Okay.
great, great.
So now you know where to go to get retreat information. You know where to go to get mini retreat information, book club information, coaching, email, and YouTube, Kathy's YouTube channel.
YouTube.
Okay.
Right.
How does the book club
Thank
work?
you.
You're welcome. Justice. Okay. So Justice says, how does the book club work? Every month, Kathy announces the book, and you sign up on whether she announces it and gives you a link to sign up to say you're going to attend free. You buy the
Right.
book. And the book club
Yeah.
right now is free. I don't know if you're watching from
Yeah.
the
And it's
future.
the last Saturday. The discussion is the last Saturday of each month.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
it's
the
a
last
Zoom
Saturday in
book club.
August, I think that's around Labor Day weekend, but
Okay.
we're gonna still have it.
Yeah, it'll be okay. It's just a couple hours.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and it's Zoom. I don't know. Maybe that's what you meant. And it's on Zoom.
Yes, it's Zoom.
Yeah.
The discussions on Zoom. Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. Truffle said it's time to go.
All right.
Sorry, y'all. All right. Thank you so much.
Time to go, y'all.
Thanks, all. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you so much. I've enjoyed today. Thank you.
Thank you,
Take
Kathy.
care.
Bye,
Bye
guys.
bye.